I'd like to pick two out now that we can do that are x equals. It'll give us an opportunity to kind of get used to a sideways parabola, and this one here is one of those. We've got x equals all this madness. You're going to need to really stay guarded when you see an x equals, because everything's going to be backwards. If you don't pay attention, you're going to get stuff, well, you're going to get it backwards. There's a plus 0 out here. There's nothing affiliated with the x. So our vertex is going to be an h and a k. And just kind of think of it this way. If something's trapped in the parentheses with y, well, that's going to be the y value of your vertex. If there's something trapped in the parentheses with x, well, that's the x value of your vertex. It's a good way to kind of set it up. So when you're looking at this, same thing applies inside the parentheses. It's the opposite sign. So you're going to want to call that a -1. Okay. The plus 0 out here, I guess it's not a positive or negative, but if it's on this side, you're going to keep the sign the way it is. This is another form of it over here that we can talk about too eventually. But this is going to be our vertex. Okay, 0, -1. We're going to move down 1. We also have a p-value if we look at the fraction here, equal to, and I'll pause for a moment. You say it. Nice. 4. Good. Because 1 over 4 times what would give you 16? Well, it has to be a 4 times a 4. P is equal to 4. That's a positive number. Even though this is on its side, because we have an x equals, we're going to go in the positive direction. So from here, we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is our focus. Okay? And remember, the parabola is going to wrap around the focus. 8 units from here, I can go, well, let's worry about that in a bit. There's 4 that direction. If I go back 1, 2, 3, 4, now that's a point on my directrix. So we can see that we're going to wrap around the parabola this way, and I was about to count out 8 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That gives me a point that I can kind of say, okay, well, there's, maybe it's overkill, I don't know. But it's a point it can establish sort of the shape. And really, the bigger P is, the wider it's going to be. Okay, we saw a pretty narrow parabola back here when we saw, P was equal to 1. This is much wider because P is equal to 4. But that's our graph. Let's look at number 10 here too now. 10 is you have x on this side and that side. We've got an x equals essentially. You can do a couple things. If you want to subtract the 2 and call it over here, then it's kind of in that form that we were used to seeing. But let's identify the things we need to see. P is equal to 1 over 4p. 4 times what is a -8? It's a -2. What's our vertex? Our vertex is x and y, or h and k. Inside the parentheses, it's the opposite. It's also the y value. So that's a -3. This guy out here, you would keep the sign. Let me show you something. In the original format, this is technically sort of in parentheses, so you could even keep it here and just change the sign. But this is the way we're kind of used to seeing it. Anyway, -2, -3. We're going to go back. 1, 2. We're going to go down. 1, 2, 3. There's your vertex. You're going to go that far away in the direction established by the fact that this is an x equals, and that's to the left or to the right. The fact that it's a -2 means we're going to the left. 1, 2. Put an x, marks the focus. Now this is that means the directrix is the opposite side, and our directrix is basically going to go right through that y-axis. So if we're here, if we want to get a point that's on it, we're going to take 2 times the value of p, go up 1, 2, 3, 4, put a point. 1, 2, 3, 4, put another point. Again, that's probably overkill. As long as you get this thing curving around the x, away from the directrix, you're going to have established a quality parabola.